You saw the signs, you felt it in your gut, but you stayed. She crossed lines. You let it slide. She disrespected you. You forgave. She drained your energy, and you called it love. Brother, every man has played that fool at least once, thinking he could fix her, thinking patience would change her, thinking if he just gave more, it would finally feel right. But let me tell you the hard truth. Real love doesn't cost you your peace. Real love doesn't leave you exhausted, anxious, and questioning your own damn mind. You didn't lose her. You lost yourself. Your time, your clarity, your edge. And I'll tell you right now, a man without peace is already defeated. He's distracted, he's weak, he's easy to control. That's not who you were built to be. You were built to lead, to protect your mind, to stand so firm in who you are that no chaos can shake you. This video isn't here to comfort you. It's here to wake you up. Today, you stop bleeding for people who wouldn't bleed for you. Today, you take your peace back. Say it with me, I protect my peace. This video isn't about blaming women. It's not about bitterness. It's about boundaries. It's about knowing your worth as a man and refusing to trade your peace for drama. I'm breaking down 6 clear signs you're dating a woman who will destroy your focus, drain your energy, and leave you a shell of who you used to be. If even one of these signs shows up in your life, you don't argue, you don't negotiate, you don't stay and suffer, you leave. Because a man protects what matters most, his mind, his peace, his future. Comment below like you mean it. I protect my peace, and say it like a vow, say it like a man who's done losing himself. Number 1. Drama feeds her more than loyalty. There's a mistake every man makes at least once in his life. He mistakes chaos for love. He mistakes intensity for connection. And brother, that mistake will cost you years. Maybe you're living it right now. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even hit the floor, you're bracing for impact. You don't know what version of her you're gonna get today. Will she be sweet, soft, warm, or is she gonna be ice cold, accusing, silent? Picking a fight over something so small it makes your damn head spin. This isn't love. This isn't normal. This is a test. And if you've stayed long enough in that kind of relationship, you already know the cycle. It starts small, little jabs, a sarcastic comment, a petty argument about something you didn't say, or something you did say, or didn't say the right way. But it's not about the thing. It was never about the thing. It's about control. It's about reaction. It's about her needing to feel something, even if that something burns the whole house down. Some women don't feel alive without conflict. Peace feels boring to them. Calm feels empty. So what do? They create their own entertainment. They manufacture crisis. And brother, you become the show. You think you're the partner. You think you're the lover. Nah, you're the lead character in her drama series. But here's where men get trapped. We want to fix it. We think if we just say the right thing, if we just stay calm, if we just love harder, it'll go away. Let me tell you something hard and real. A woman addicted to drama is not looking to be loved. She's looking to be fed. She wants your energy, your attention, your reactions. Every time you defend yourself, every time you raise your voice, every time you chase her trying to resolve the fight, you're giving her exactly what she wants. You're playing the part she cast you in. And the longer you play it, the more you lose yourself. I've seen good men, strong men, turn into hollow shells trying to survive in a relationship like that, walking on eggshells, losing sleep, questioning their own damn sanity, until one day, you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize yourself anymore. That's what this shit does to a man. It doesn't just waste your time, it drains your soul. So what's the way out? What do you do when you realize you're not in a relationship? You're in a game you can never win. You stop playing, you stop feeding the fire, you stop explaining yourself to noise. That's the Stoic way. See, the ancient Stoics didn't chase approval. They didn't argue with fools. They didn't beg to be understood. They mastered themselves. They mastered their energy. They understood this truth. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult deserves a reply. Not every storm needs to be survived. Some storms are sent to show you how much you love your own peace. Brother, silence is your weapon. Not to punish her, not to play games, but because you refuse to abandon yourself. You withdraw your energy like a king protecting his kingdom. You withdraw your words like a warrior who saves his strength for real battles. Let her spin her chaos. Let her test. Let her poke. She can dance in her storm all day long, but you are the mountain, unmoved, untouched, untouchable. And here's the line you better carve into your damn heart. A woman who feeds on drama will starve in the presence of peace. Remember that, because peace isn't something you beg for. It's something you build. It's something you guard, and if you lose it, you lose yourself. So when you see the signs, the constant conflict, the manipulation, the games, don't stay and fight. Don't argue. Don't explain. Stand up. Walk away. Reclaim your damn life. And the next time chaos shows up at your door, don't answer. Because a man who values his peace doesn't explain himself to noise. He just keeps walking. Number 2, her words are sweet. Her actions are poison. It sneaks up on you slow. That's the dangerous part. It doesn't start with a slap in the face. It starts with a soft hand on your shoulder, a sweet voice, an apology. That sounds like music. She says all the right things. Baby, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again. You're the only man I care about. And for a moment, you believe it. Because you want to believe it. That's the mistake most men make. We don't fall for lies because we're stupid. We fall because we're hopeful. We want her to be who she says she is. We want it to work. We want the words to mean something. But words are cheap, brother. Words cost nothing. Actions cost effort. Actions cost character, actions cost discipline, and a woman who talks big but lives small, that's a woman who will gut your peace and leave you wondering what the hell happened. I've seen it. Hell, I've lived it. You forgive. You overlook. You tell yourself, she said she's sorry. She promised this time will be different, and every damn time it gets worse. Why? Because you're teaching her something dangerous. You're teaching her that words are enough, that she can do whatever the hell she wants. Say the right thing later, and keep you exactly where she wants you. Confused, off balance, stuck. That's how men lose themselves, not all at once, not in a loud explosion, but slowly, quietly, death by 1,000 small betrayals. You stay long enough with a woman whose words are sweet, but her actions are poison. And eventually, you start doubting your own eyes. That's when you know you're in trouble. When you see disrespect, but question if you're overreacting. When you feel neglected, but tell yourself you're just being sensitive. When you catch her in a lie, but convince yourself. It's not a big deal, brother. That's not love. That's manipulation. That's a game where the scoreboard is your sanity. And let me be very clear. No woman deserves your loyalty if she disrespects your reality. The Stoics understood this long before us. They said, don't listen to what a man says. Watch what a man does. And the same damn thing applies here. Watch her feet, not her mouth. Bullshit sounds good. Truth walks. Does she honor her word when nobody's watching? Does she protect your name when you're not in the room? Does her behavior match her promises? If not, it's time to stop living in fantasy. It's time to return to reality. And reality is simple. Love is not a speech. It's not a promise. It's not a late-night apology after a selfish act. Love is consistency. Love is action. Love is proof. Anything less is just noise dressed up as hope. And you, my brother, you deserve more than noise. You deserve clarity. You deserve respect. You deserve to sleep at night knowing the woman in your bed honors the man you are. And if she doesn't, you don't fight, you don't argue, you don't beg, you leave. You let her keep her words, and you take your peace. Because a real man doesn't measure love by what he hears. He measures it by what he sees. Words tell you who she wants to be. Actions tell you who she really is. Never forget that. Keep your eyes clear. Keep your heart guarded. Keep walking toward peace. Because a man who trusts words over actions is a man walking blind into the fire. And brother, you've already been burned enough. Number 3, she has no respect for your boundaries. It usually starts small. That's how they get in. Not with a big, loud violation of your trust, but with little tests, little comments that don't sit right, little jokes that sting more than they should, little behaviors that cross a line. Just enough for you to feel it in your gut. But what do most men do? We brush it off. We tell ourselves, it's not a big deal. It's just how she is. It'll pass. And right there, brother, that's the first cut. That's where you lose ground. That's where the blueprint for every future mistake gets drawn. See, women who don't respect boundaries aren't confused. They're calculating. They want to know how much of yourself you're willing to give up, just to keep them around. Not because they love you, not because they care, but because control feels better to them than connection. You set a boundary. She laughs, mocks it, pushes it. She calls it love, but it's not love. Love doesn't test your dignity. Love doesn't demand you abandon yourself to keep the peace. That's not love. Brother, that's manipulation dressed in sweet words, control wrapped in affection. It's poison in a pretty bottle. And the hard truth is, the moment you let someone step over your line without consequence, you've taught them how to treat you. Every time you fold, every time you hesitate, every time you negotiate your non-negotiables, you're losing a piece of yourself. You think you're being patient. You think you're being understanding. But what you're really doing is showing her that your standards are flexible, that your self-respect is negotiable. And that, my friend, is blood in the water, because a woman who disrespects your boundaries once will do it again and again and again until one day you're standing in a life you don't recognize. You're exhausted, empty, resentful, not because she took your power, but because you gave it away, piece by piece, boundary by boundary. The Stoics knew better. They didn't argue with people who crossed lines. They didn't debate their worth. They didn't explain their rules. They enforced them quietly, calmly, unapologetically. That is what a man does. You set your boundary once, and if it's crossed again, you don't yell, you don't fight, you don't write a damn essay trying to justify yourself. You leave, because a boundary without enforcement is just a suggestion, and a man who doesn't enforce his boundaries isn't peaceful. He's a prisoner. Let me be crystal clear with you. No woman will respect a man who doesn't respect himself. Not long term. Not when life gets hard. Not when emotions get messy. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're walls to protect the man you've worked so damn hard to become. A boundary says, this is where I end, and this is where my peace begins. And brother, if a woman can't honor that, she's not worthy of the life you're building. Period. Let her call you cold. Let her say you've changed. Let her tell her friends you're distant. None of that matters. What matters is that you sleep like a man who didn't betray himself to please someone else, that you look in the mirror and respect the man staring back, because in this life, no boundaries means no backbone, and no backbone means no peace. Remember that? Tattoo it on your soul, because the world will always test you. Women will test you. Life will test you. But a man with boundaries, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't fold. He doesn't explain. He just walks away from anything that threatens his peace. And that is a man nobody can control. Number 4. She weaponizes vulnerability. There's a mistake a lot of good men make. Strong men, hard-working men, men who would give you the shirt off their back without thinking twice. They finally meet a woman, and for the first time in a long time, they let their guard down. Feels right, feels safe, feels like maybe, just maybe, this is someone who'll understand them. So they open up. They share the wounds they never told anyone about, childhood scars, past heartbreaks, insecurities that kept them up at night, because we're told real intimacy needs vulnerability. And I agree. But here's the part no one talks about. Vulnerability is only powerful in the hands of someone who respects it. In the wrong hands, it's a loaded gun pointed straight at your heart. See, a good woman will hold your pain. Protect it, honor it like something sacred, but a bad woman, she'll study it, memorize it, wait for the right moment to weaponize it, and the first time it happens, you'll be stunned. You'll be in the middle of a stupid argument over nothing, and suddenly, she pulls out the darkest thing you ever shared, throws it in your face like a dagger. Maybe it's that thing your father said to you as a kid that broke your spirit. Maybe it's the way your ex betrayed you. Maybe it's the part of yourself you're still trying to heal. She uses it to hurt you, to shame you, to win. And in that moment, brother, something in you dies. It's not just about what she said. It's the betrayal. It's realizing that what you gave her in trust was never safe with her. That's a pain no man forgets. It's the day you learn the hard way. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Stoicism doesn't say never be vulnerable. Stoicism says be precise about where you bleed. Never bleed in front of someone who smiles at your wounds. Never hand your story to someone who will turn the pages against you. You guard your inner world like a fortress, not because you're cold, not because you're broken, but because peace requires discipline, because your story is sacred, because trust is earned, not given out like candy just because someone makes you feel less lonely at 2 a.m. And brother, I know what it feels like to sit alone in a room and wonder if you'll ever be able to open up again. Wonder if you'll ever trust another soul. But here's the shift. You don't shut down forever. You upgrade your standards. You don't close your heart. You raise your gate. From this moment on. You speak less. You observe more. You share slowly. You watch for consistency, respect, loyalty when it costs them something. And until you see those things, your story stays yours. Your heart stays yours. Your peace stays yours. Because a real man doesn't put his soul on display for entertainment. He protects it like a warrior guards his family. And here's the line I want you to carry with you. Good woman will protect your weakness. A bad woman will profit from it. Learn the difference and never forget. Your vulnerability is not for public consumption. It's not for manipulation. It's not for leverage. It's a gift, a rare one. And you only give it to someone who's proven they'll hold it like gold. Everyone else, let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them talk to the wall of a man who respects himself too much to bleed for anyone who hasn't earned it, because a man who guards his inner world is a man no one can break. Number 5. She competes with your mission. There's a moment in every man's life when he feels it, that quiet pull, that calling deep in his gut that says, "This is what I was born to do." Could be building a business, writing a book, creating something that outlives him. Could be raising sons into men. Doesn't matter what it is. What matters is, every real man has a mission. And when a man finds his mission, he changes, he gets focused, he stops chasing noise, he sharpens up. Time becomes valuable, energy becomes sacred. Not everybody gets access to him anymore, and this is where some women start to panic. Not all women. A good woman sees a man with a mission and respects the hell out of it. She knows that if he's built for purpose, he'll lead with strength, he'll love with depth, he'll protect with honor. But a woman who's insecure, a woman who's used to being the center of attention, she doesn't see your mission as something powerful. She sees it as competition. She starts feeling second place, starts needing constant validation, starts picking fights when you're focused, starts accusing you of not caring, just because you're building something bigger than comfort. I've seen it. Hell, I've lived it. You're in the middle of grinding. You're trying to stay disciplined. You've got momentum going, and out of nowhere, drama. She's upset. She needs attention. She's questioning your priorities. And brother, if you're not careful, this is where most men lose. They get guilted out of their greatness. They shrink to keep the peace. They delay their purpose to avoid conflict. They trade progress for temporary approval. But let me tell you something hard and real. A woman who needs you to be small in order for her to feel big is not a woman you build with. That's a woman who will sabotage your future every time it threatens her comfort. And if you bend to that, if you break your mission to babysit her emotions, you're not just losing time, you're losing yourself. Stoicism teaches this clearly. Purpose first. Always. A man without a mission is like a ship without a rudder. Drifting, lost, pulled around by the tides of whatever noise shows up. But a man with a mission, he's different. He's not cold, he's not heartless. He's clear, and that clarity is intimidating to people who don't know who they are. So what's the move here? It's simple. You lead with purpose. You communicate it. You let her know exactly who you are and what you're building. And then you watch. Does she sharpen your edge or dull it? Does she support your grind or interrupt it? Does she respect your time or compete with it? Because, brother, a good woman isn't threatened by your greatness. She's inspired by it. She doesn't pull you away from the man you're becoming. She stands beside him. She pushes him further. That's partnership. Anything else? That's a distraction. That's a liability. That's a weight tied to your ankles while you're trying to run uphill. And you better believe this. A man who sacrifices his mission for approval ends up resenting the very person he tried to please. You can love her. You can care for her. You can respect her. But if she asks you to put your mission second, you walk, because a man without a mission is already lost. Purpose first, always. That's how men are built. That's how empires are built. That's how peace is built, and any woman who truly loves you will never ask you to be less, just so she can feel like more. Remember this line, brother. A woman who competes with your purpose isn't your partner. She's your opponent, and life is too damn short to sleep next to the enemy. Purpose first, every time. Number 6, your gut already knows. It's quiet at first, that feeling, that tightness in your chest when you're around her, the way your stomach knots for no reason, the way your mind keeps replaying little moments that don't. Sit right. You don't talk about it. You don't even want to admit it to yourself, because everything looks good on the outside. She says the right things, smiles in public, posts the photos, tells you how lucky she is to have you. But inside, your gut already knows. It always does. See, a man's heart can lie to him. Your heart wants to believe. It wants to hope. It wants to stay. Your heart remembers the good moments. It holds on to the potential, the laughs, the early days when it all felt easy. But your gut doesn't care about the highlight reel. Your gut only knows energy, truth, patterns. It feels what words try to cover up. And the biggest mistake a man makes is ignoring it. Every sleepless night, every anxious morning, every moment you feel like you have to check yourself before you speak. That's not love. That's survival mode. You shouldn't feel like you're walking through a minefield. In your own relationship, you shouldn't feel drained after every conversation. You shouldn't feel like you have to earn basic respect. But here's the dangerous part. If you ignore your gut long enough, you start to lose trust in yourself. You start asking other people for advice, friends, family, strangers online. You start thinking, maybe it's you, maybe you're overthinking, maybe you're the problem. But deep down, brother, every man I know who stayed too long in a bad relationship, they all say the same damn thing after it's over. I knew, not at the end, not when it all exploded, way before that, months before, years sometimes, but they stayed. They ignored the signs. They gave benefit of the doubt. They rationalized. They hoped, and it cost them their peace, cost them their time, cost them their damn sanity. That's why the Stoics didn't preach about feelings. They talked about clarity, about aligning your life with reality, not illusion. And reality is simple. When something feels off for too long, it's off. When your gut keeps whispering, it's time to listen. Not because you're bitter, not because you're angry, but because your peace is sacred. Your time is sacred. Your life is too damn short to sit in a house built on anxiety. So what do? You stop explaining your instincts away. You stop giving unlimited chances to the same patterns. You stop betraying yourself for comfort. Because peace, real peace, it doesn't come from her changing. It comes from you listening. Comes the moment you trust that inner voice more than the outer performance. It comes when you walk away from what looks good but feels wrong. And here's what I want you to carry with you. Your heart might love her, your mind might defend her, but your gut is the oldest, most honest voice you've got. And a man who ignores his gut is a man walking blind into a war. Brother, you weren't built to second-guess yourself. You weren't built to lose sleep over someone who drains your soul. You were built for clarity, for strength, for peace. And the moment you choose that, the moment you finally say, enough, that's the moment life opens up again. That's the moment you breathe deep for the first time in years. That's the moment you become dangerous again. In the best damn way, because a man who trusts his gut is a man nobody can fool. Not twice, not ever again. Brother, let me leave you with this. A man doesn't lose his life all at once. He loses it in pieces. Every time he stays where he doesn't belong. Every time he betrays his gut just to keep the peace. Every time he lowers his standards because he's afraid to be alone. That's how good men disappear. Not because they weren't strong, but because they forgot where their power lives. And your power. It's in your peace. It's in walking away from anything that costs you your dignity. It's in standing firm when the world tries to pull you off center. It's in knowing that not every fight is yours to fight. Some battles end the moment you leave the room. This is what Stoicism was always about. Not emotionless, not heartless, but disciplined. Disciplined enough to say, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I will never tolerate again. You don't heal by fixing chaos. You heal by leaving it behind. You don't rebuild your life by waiting for someone to change. You rebuild it by changing you. And when you get that clarity, when you start protecting your peace like a warrior guards his home, you become untouchable, calm, quiet, grounded. That's real strength. So right now, I want you to mark this moment. This is your line in the sand. Comment it below. Write it like you mean it. I protect my peace. Not just words, not just for today, but a vow. To yourself, to the man you're becoming. A man of peace. A man of power. A man who will never lose himself again.